Hi everyone, welcome to another live stream here on SmugMug Live. Thank you for joining us today wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good afternoon or good evening. It's been a busy week here on the SmugMug Live channel. We've had 4 episodes including this one this week already. Today we're going to talk about some tips and tricks with our SmugMug product. I'll be joined by one of my team members very shortly, and we'll go through some of the maybe lesser known features or some of the areas that aren't covered quite so often in things like webinars and help pages and that type of stuff. So thank you all for joining today. I really appreciate it. Do 2 things for me. Let me know where you're tuning in from. It's always nice to see where you are in the world. And if you have any questions at any point during this live stream today, just put them in the comments and we will see them and we'll get to them all hopefully today. As I say, it's been a busy week. This week we were joined by 2 of our ambassadors. We were joined by Pratik Naik earlier this week, and he gave us a wonderful demonstration on his retouching techniques using Photoshops and some of the other tools that he has in his arsenal. And then yesterday we were joined by Brett Florence, a wonderful destination wedding photographer, who ran us through some ideas for alternative ways to market yourself during these kind of unusual and unprecedented times. So those are all rewatchable here on the YouTube channel. We also did a special this week where we did a whole episode just on our Lightroom plugin. The Lightroom plugin is really deep and super powerful, and we felt it needed a whole episode just to itself rather than during our tips and tricks episode. So again, go rewatch that with myself and my colleague Aaron, and we go through all the features of our Lightroom plugin, allowing you to upload directly from Lightroom to your SmugMug account and all the other features that plugin has. So there's already people giving us shouts out from Rapom in Bangladesh, Dayanda in India. Thank you for joining us. Others who haven't mentioned where they're from yet, but let us know where in the world you're joining from. It's always a pleasure. And today we're going to spend probably the next 45 minutes as I say, just diving into some features of our product and see if we can inspire you to look at some of those features, and you can inspire us by asking your questions in the chat, and we'll maybe get through to some of those. But today I am joined, hopefully, by my colleague Kaydin. Kaydin, are you there?
I'm here.
Good morning to you, Kaydin.
Good morning to you, or good evening to you, Alastair.
It's evening for me. For those of you that are not familiar with my Scottish accent, if you haven't picked that up already, I'm based here in Scotland at the moment, not able to travel as I typically do with my role. And Kaydin, you are in California.
Beautiful Santa Cruz, California.
Yeah, beautiful sunny day in paradise.
It really is, actually.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. So thank you for joining me this morning. Your time, I really appreciate it. And today we're going to get into some features and areas of our product that we wanted to highlight to our audience. So I am going to let Kaydin share the screen and talk through some of these areas that he wants to cover today. Kaydin, give us a little bit of idea of what it is you do at SmugMug, and let the people know why you're so appropriate to have on this show and such an expert in our product.
Sure. Well, I'm currently an account manager here at SmugMug. I spent several years also on the support team, and before that, I was even a pro account holder for my photography business. So I've been in the SmugMug universe almost 10 years now, and an employee for coming on to 7. And so I work with our top level pros and new users that just kind of show them the ropes and get the best out of their SmugMug accounts, and develop workflows and features. And I help host our webinar series as well and write different content regarding like the things we're doing right now. So all inside the product.
Yeah, that's why I asked Kaydin to join us, because he really does know every inch of our product. Unless we stump him on something, that's our goal. Try and find something.
I'm always learning new things.
Yeah, and as Kaydin mentioned, most of us here in the company, or a lot of us here in the company, were customers before we became employees. We're very passionate about our product, and that's why we wanted to share some of these tips and tricks with you. So without further ado, maybe for the next 30 minutes, we'll chat about some of these ideas as we go along. Post those questions in the chat, and maybe you can steer us onto questions or areas that we don't plan on covering, but we're happy to go in tangents. It's one of my favourite things to do. Right, Kaydin, I think your screen is sharing. Let me just check. It is indeed. So
Awesome.
what are we going to cover first?
Well, first, part of having a SmugMug site and an account is being able to get all your photos up there. And there's lots of ways to do it. But one thing I really wanted to highlight today is what we call folder uploading. So to do folder uploading, we have to access our organizer. So I'm going to click on Organize up here in the action bar. And the whole point to folder uploading is to upload an existing hierarchy of already organized photos and folders that you may already have on your Mac or your PC. You could, in theory, we can come up here and we can click create and create new galleries and folders and make an identical structure to what might already be organized on our computers. But with folder uploading, we're actually able to upload that existing hierarchy already. So I'm going to switch here and let me know, Alastair, if you can you see my folders now that I'm showing here in the middle on my Mac?
We can indeed, yep.
Perfect. All right, so this is just an example folder structure that I put together called My Photos. As we can see, there's a couple of different years here. If we go into 2019, there's some months, and then we have some photos. Same goes for like family vacations, different vacations themselves, and a bunch of photos. So with folder uploading, I can go straight to that main top level folder. And before I do that, I want to highlight two aspects. So in order to make folder uploading work, you have to have one of two things selected, either an existing folder. For example, in the hierarchy right now, I have portfolio selected in this left panel, or the top level of your hierarchy in your organizer. Both of those options, either a folder or the top level, we see upload folders here in green. Whereas if I had a gallery selected, like this wildlife gallery, that switches to upload photos. So with the top level of the hierarchy selected, I'm going to click upload folders, and then I'm going to browse to my desktop, and let's go straight to the desktop here, and we're going to go to My Photos, and that's exactly the level I want. Now, I could dig in and select one of these other ones, but I'm going to actually do just to My Photos right there, and then click Upload, and then it's going to let us know, hey, do you want to upload all 76 of these? Yes, I do. Now, these files that I made for the demo specifically are really small. You can see they're less than a meg. That's so that we can see this upload very quickly. Some of you may know, but many of you may not, that SmugMug has unlimited storage for your galleries, but also you can upload up to, I think we changed it recently, Alastair, to 4 gigapixels per image. It used to be 150 megabytes per image. It's now 4 gigapixels.
Huge amounts of storage.
Giant. I mean, if you're stitching together the entire universe, you may be able to reach it. But now we can see 58 happier photos. Do that, and then if we come down here to My Photos, there's that structure put right back together, showing all of the years as well as the vacations and all of that. So in one selection, we were able to upload an entire folder structure already to SmugMug. So folder uploading is a very, very powerful feature, especially for newer users or someone that already has spent tons of time organizing their content into existing folders on their Mac or their PC. And then to amend that, one of my other little tips and a newer feature that we just released, our dedicated our dedicated Windows app. So it's called SmugMug for Windows, and you can find that on our help pages, is a dedicated Windows uploader that you can now set a watched folder. So you can have a specific folder that you put your photos into on your PC, and once you add new images into that folder, those will upload automatically to your SmugMug account. And then lastly, to amend even more to auto uploading, for those of you that don't know, both of our Mac and, our iOS, I've got all of my operating systems confused today. iOS and Android smartphone apps for your SmugMug both also have auto upload features that you can use to get your photos directly from your devices up to your SmugMug accounts.
So
So
that
that's what I
copied,
wanted
yeah.
to start.
So that copied that exact folder structure that you just dragged the top level in, including all the naming, the hierarchy, everything that was in that original folder copied over. What happens if there was something in that folder that we don't accept, like a PDF file or something? It just ignores it,
Yeah,
right?
if there's a file format we don't accept, it will just be ignored. And that's to add on to that. If your structure goes deeper than what SmugMug allows, which is currently 7 levels, I always refer to the very top level of your hierarchy as level 1. All of these folders underneath that would be level 2. This would be level 3, and that would be level 4, where this gallery is sitting. So you're actually can go up to 7 levels. So if your folder structure on your Mac or your PC is going farther than that, we will give you a pop-up that says, hey, you need to adjust slightly and pull some back so that we can fit it into our hierarchy.
Right. So super quick way to get all those images sitting on your hard drive up into SmugMug and organized. And then once they're uploaded, obviously you can then go and do more, organization, hence the name of the organizer,
Mm-hmm.
of those files. You can drag them around, you can change the name,
Mm-hmm.
all that type of stuff. But it's just a really nice way to get those uploaded. Any other areas of the uploader you want to cover?
Um, I think that was it on the uploader part that I wanted to show today was just the folder uploading. I will give a shout out to our uploading help page that will give you all of the information that we have regarding uploading on your multiple devices and operating systems and the different ways to get your photos from those devices up to your SmugMug account. Last week we covered guest upload. I guess I could quickly just show on that since we are just on the subject. Let's just drop into the My Photos, let's say family vacations and Disney 2018. These are obviously not all Disney photos, but these are my examples. But if I go into the settings for this gallery here, and we drop into the security and sharing tab, there is the guest uploading feature available right there. And this is, again, one of my favorite ones because like a vacation, let's say, different family members from all over the country all met at Disneyland and we're taking great shots of all the kids in the family and doing that. Well, there's only one or several people in the family that have SmugMug accounts. Those account owners could create a guest upload link. And what I usually just put in is the word upload, but really you can put anything in. And as soon as I start typing that in, we see a little link pop out down here. And so if I copy that link and save it, we can see that, let's see, I'll open a new window here. And if we paste that in, this will take us directly to the opportunity to upload photos into that gallery. So other family members can add the photos that they had captured on that event and take it and get them into the SmugMug gallery.
Yeah. While you're just on that window, before you close it,
Mm-hmm.
as I mentioned at the start of the show 2 days ago, was it 2 days ago? It's been a long week. Yeah. On Wednesday, we did a whole episode just about the Lightroom plugin. You'll see that at the bottom there as alternative services to upload to SmugMug. And you can do all the uploading directly within Lightroom. So if you're interested in how to use Lightroom, go rewatch that episode from Wednesday. It covers all the bells and whistles for uploading. But there's other things mentioned down there of ways that you can upload.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so we got the Lightroom Classic here, which that would be the I guess you would say now the older version of Lightroom, as Lightroom CC is the newer version. Lightroom Classic is what you were just referring to of all of um, where the Lightroom plugin itself is built in, and you can do all the syncing and publishing, folder and gallery creations, even edit gallery settings, all from within Lightroom, and an extremely powerful app, I guess you'd say. And then these two links here will get you to the Windows app that I mentioned earlier, the iOS and Android ones. This is defaulting right now to the Mac one because I'm on my Apple computer. So that's why we're seeing this in the middle, where you would actually see the windows if you're on a Windows machine,
Yep.
and then the other services as well right here.
Awesome. If you go watch the episode from Wednesday about the Lightroom plugin, I was joined by our colleague Aaron, who's our director of product here at SmugMug, and he gave us some secrets during the episode of stuff that's not actually launched yet, which was kind of cool. There may be an uploading option coming to Lightroom CC very soon, which is exciting.
Yep, it is coming soon, I hope.
So he was confident enough, it was close enough that he would mention it on the show, even though we haven't actually announced it or launched it yet. So a little nugget there. I've got a question that I'd like to jump to. It's kind of out of sync of some of the stuff we'd like to cover, but that's exactly why we're here today. We want to hear your questions. Question here from Ken McBride, who says, "Hi, is there a way of hiding all the SmugMug details at the bottom of your SmugMug site? I'm present on a pro plan." So I wanted to cover the fact that when you have a SmugMug account, we have a header and a footer, and you are able to adjust them and hide them. Could you cover or adjust them? So could you cover some of the ways where you can hide the footer and hide the header and minimize the footer?
Absolutely. Yeah. So here's the footer down here we see with photo sharing about SmugMug and some other information. You can't.
It's all right. It's behind your wonderful picture.
Oh, got it. Can you see it now? Interesting. All right. Well, we can address that later. At the very bottom, you can take my word for it. When the SmugMug footer is enabled, there's some couple little links. One says photo sharing, about SmugMug.
It's exactly what he's wanting to get rid of, the about
that kind of stuff. And then at the top, there's the SmugMug logo. Now we're always going to see that logo when we're logged into our account, because that's part of the action bar up there. But we can hide the header and we can minimize the footer. So to do that, we enter what we refer to as the customizer. So I click Customize, Content and Design, and it's as easy as going up to this little settings button up here in the top. You click that, and we just want to toggle the header to off and then the footer to mini. And when the footer becomes mini, all that happens now is just a small little powered by SmugMug, and you can decide if that's going to be left, center, or right. And so I'll just leave it at center. And if we save and publish, now I'm in an incognito browser right now, so switching to incognito on the same site won't actually show us that it's missing on the header, but I will show us that the footer is missing, but you can't see the footer. But possibly you can see the small powered by SmugMug now at the bottom.
The broadcast system's not showing your full screen. It scales the screens a little bit just to make sure it covers all the different devices. So we're just cutting that off. But Ken, hopefully that answers your questions.
What I'll do is maybe I'll bring my browser a little smaller.
There you go. You can see that.
There, right there.
Yeah.
There we go. So now there's just a small powered by SmugMug at the very bottom there. And the header, and again, I said because I'm in an incognito browser for this presentation, I can't quite show you here unless I can't quite show you here what it would look like. But if we look at it, just check out those steps there, Ken, and you'll be stoked.
Check those out, Ken. You'll see it cleans all that up, makes it much more professional website looking for your clients looking at it, because it gets rid of all that branding. There's that little powered by right at the bottom, but hopefully that answers your questions. So, Kaydin, we'll go back to back on script. Not that we particularly have a script. We are kind of just going live and showing you some tips and tricks.
Please share it.
Nah, we're just here hanging out on a Friday and going through some other features. But there's so many different areas we can cover. What could we get to next until some other people load in some questions? Don't hesitate, folks. Load in those questions in the chat, and we'll get to them.
One thing I wanted to highlight here, Alastair, was a lot of times people ask, how can I make a blog or a pseudo blog on SmugMug? How can I write content and create a post that's not a gallery of images itself, but something that has some more text in it? So I wanted to kind of spend a couple of minutes and show one strategy of doing that. Do you think people would be open to that?
I'm open to that. I think that's a great idea. Let's see it.
Let's do it. All right, so we can see here, I've already kind of prepped a little bit. So we've got some items up in the nav bar here, and I've added blog. And then there's first blog post and second blog post. So if I click on one of these, it's just going to take us to one on SmugMug we call a page. This is a web page because we have three different directory types. We've got galleries, where you upload your images, and then folders we use to organize our galleries and our other folders. And then pages are what we use to create unique content, right? Something that's text-centric. You're going to put different photos in and different types of text and elements using the content blocks. So here's an example of a post, and then we can take a look at the second one here. And very similar, some text and then an image, and then some more text and a few more images. So the way this is done is we use a combination of folders and pages. So if I go into the organizer, go into the back end of this site that we're working on today, we can see that there's a folder that's been created, and it's called blog. Simply just named it blog. And then inside of that folder, I have those two pages. So we have first blog post and second blog post. So if I wanted to do a third, I would simply have the blog folder selected, click create, then web page. And then at this point, we get an option to choose a layout, kind of a template of the page. And if you wanted it to be blank, we can just click custom, and you can start completely from scratch here. We could do portfolio, which is, you can see, going to be more text-centric, different layouts for images. And these are going to have, again, different combinations of content blocks already on the page for you just to replace, but you can also delete them and add additional ones. And then there's also pricing, and this one's a little bit more text-centric. So let's go ahead and do, let's do the pricing one, and we'll do list here. And if I click next, then we'll call this third blog post, because I'm super creative like that. And then we've got first, second, and third. Up, looks like it, once we loads it, it takes me straight to it to start customizing. And now here's that content ready to be replaced. So I can head on into an image, go to wildlife, add a few images here, and then start updating this. And then with the little trash can icon, we can delete. You can see that in the upper left side of the options of the icons of any content block. There's a little trash can icon, and you can start removing some of the additional ones if needed. But this is a really easy way to do a pseudo blog, is really what I call it. And somebody, a SmugMug user I'd like to highlight that does this incredibly well and really beautifully would be Joe Ning. He's a Canadian editorial photographer that covers sports and events all over the world, and he's also a Fuji ambassador. And if we go down here to blog, you can see that we're at the domain changes to /blog. This is also a folder, just like I showed. And then these are all pages that he's used to create the posts. So we click in on that, and now we have all of the text and the different single photo, and it works its way down to create a blog post. So that is the next thing that I kind of wanted to cover on how users can create a pseudo blog using SmugMug.
It's cool. It's nice to see that Joe's way more creative about his blog page titles than you are, Kaydin. You must have thought long and hard today about blog 1, blog 2, blog 3, but yeah, it's good for the purpose of these demos. Yes, yeah. So everybody's Ken sent us a lovely thank you there. You're welcome, Ken. Glad we answered that for you. No questions about the blogs, although there is a bit of a delay in the feed. So if a question comes back in about the blog, we'll jump back to that. Do you have anything else up your sleeve?
Sure. Yeah. Another thing that new users and even older users sometimes discover new features, but I wanted to highlight a feature that we have in two parts to it. One that's called right-click message. So firstly, I'm going to go ahead and come on in here and turn this feature off so we can see what it looks like and how it functions while it's off. So I'm going to hit save, and then we'll go to this wildlife gallery. And what right-click message does, well, when it's off, what can happen is that when your images are being viewed like this, visitors could go right-click and save as. And as photographers, sometimes we really don't want that to be possible. We want to protect our images. And to prevent people from being able to save them to their computer. On the converse of that, sometimes you want to give away your photos, but not the high resolution images themselves, not the originals. So sometimes having right-click message off will allow individuals to save that display size, or the size of the image that we're viewing here, and not actually the high resolution original, which is saved in the background, which would be available if you had download buttons turned on. So right-click message turned off allows for this to happen. And then if we come on back into the gallery settings, and here's another way you can access it, is directly from the customize menu when you're in a gallery itself. So if I go customize gallery settings, and then we go to photo protection and we turn it on, we can now see how that works. And that would be right click, and it says these photos are copyrighted by their respective owners, all rights reserved, unauthorized use prohibited. Now that is our default that's put in here. The next thing I would like to show is that you can customize that message. So if I access the account settings, so we go to the upper right corner of our logged in session on our SmugMug account, click the little silhouette icon if you don't have a profile photo, but if you have one, that'll show your own profile photo. And we can click account settings. And then once we go right here into privacy, you can see that there's an option that says right-click message. And if you fill in that field, you can put whatever you would like in there. I've seen people put several paragraphs into the right-click message. And what's really cool about this is it allows you to actively engage with your visitors. You know, if somebody is on your site and they love your photos, chances are if they make the action of right-clicking, they're probably trying to follow it up with a save as. So by adding some information here and letting them know that, hey, your images are for sale, or are they looking for the buy button, or maybe even a little bit of information about yourself. You can put your phone number, you can put your email, whatever you like. I've seen some really funny things as well.
Yeah, you probably want to be not too aggressive in there, because people doing that can easily be turned into a customer potentially. But yeah, we've definitely seen some fun things in there. But one of the cutest ones I saw was, "I'm sorry, I think you were looking for the buy button," which is always
That is
a nice
a good
way
one.
to do that. But yeah, a nice way to protect your images. But just be careful
Yeah,
what
and
you say in there.
and to engage with your visitors, right? To
Yeah.
engage with them and show that there's, you are a photographer and a human on the other side, and that these, that the images themselves may be protected, and that you can give a message there.
Yeah.
So that was the other bit that I wanted to show. And if you're all right, I'm going to carry on to one more while I'm in the account center.
No, while you're on the protection, I've got a question for you.
Yeah.
I'm actually going to do these questions. There's a few questions. I'm going to do them slightly out of order because you're on protection at the moment. Robert's written in to ask, how do you protect the homepage cover image? Is there right-click protection on that? I'm not sure what he means by the cover image. Maybe he means the background.
The cover
image?
photo.
Specifically says homepage cover image.
That could be a few different things. That could be the background image. That could be just a single photo that's put on the homepage. But usually you want the right-click message at the gallery level that the image itself is in. So that's wherever that image is uploaded to, you want right-click message enabled at that gallery level.
Yeah, if you've got a slideshow or a homepage image, those images, whatever gallery you're either collecting from or storing them in, that needs that protection enabled at that level. Going to go back to the blog because the messages have caught up a little bit. It's similar to the blog question, but I'll maybe have a stab at this one. Michelle asks, similar to the blog post, is there a way to highlight the lab and their products that you are using on your professional pages? Now, what's interesting, Michelle, is there's a couple of thoughts around this. Majority of our customers, the pro photographer, are deliberately trying to not highlight the lab that they work with. They want their clients to work directly with them and buy the images, and in many cases they try and shield the clients from knowing exactly what lab they are working with. and that is to protect the prices at a retail wholesale pricing, so that clients don't find out the kind of cost that you're paying the lab before you then sell the image and mark that image up for profit. So there's a reason why we don't put that front and center and don't highlight that directly via the tools within our pages. We want to try and shield the labs away from the client base that you might have as a pro photographer. However, if you want to showcase the types of products that are available, then any page can be used to build out your own feature. And it's always going to be much nicer if you build out a page with product examples that feature images that you've taken, your own work, and obviously then you don't fulfill of any copyright issues as well. So it's really nice to have your own page. So yeah, just a bit like a blog page, you really could just take your own images of products that you get from the lab and then build out a blog page featuring them. Any tips on your end in that question, Kaydin?
The only thing I would amend to that too is to highlight the fact that through the price lists itself, you are able to take any price list that you have and download a CSV of that. Maybe it wouldn't be something you would put on your SmugMug site, but it would allow you to have a CSV file of all of the products and all of the prices that you have. Now, something worth mentioning is that when you download this CSV file, it will also show the base cost of what the lab charges to produce the print, as well as the profit. So you'll want to be sure to edit that CSV and remove those columns and just leave the product itself and the price. But that is also another way to highlight, to your clients or potential clients, what products and sizes and mediums you have available and the prices.
Yeah, but there's honestly nothing better than having your own dedicated page with your own work mounted and produced by the labs, but showcasing your own work. I've also seen some clients be super successful with actually making little videos that they can host on a page as well, really discussing and going through what the product is and selling that to the client. So I would really recommend making a bespoke page for yourself and showcasing the product that you want to sell. Because again, our labs have thousands of products and thousands of SKUs that you could add to a price list. You're probably only going to want to highlight those ones that you're actually offering to your client base. So thanks for the question, Michelle. Hope that answers that question and gives you some ideas of how you could move forward with that. Okay, Kaydin, sorry I stopped you kind of mid-flow there as you were going to jump into something else.
Yeah, so I have a couple of more things in the account settings wise I want to touch. The first of which, so I'll go back into the account settings, is Google Analytics. It's such a powerful, amazing service that is available for free to most, I believe. I think if you're a gigantic corporation or business, you may have to pay for Google Analytics. But for most of our users, you're going to find that Google Analytics is absolutely free. And it's just so powerful to learn exactly who's visiting your site, from what devices, where in the world, how long they were there, what websites they came from, all of that great information to learn about your site's visitors. And so all you got to do is go to Google Analytics and get a free account. When you get an account, it'll give you a UA number, and you just paste it into here. And that should be a great resource for you to see all of that amazing information regarding the traffic that's coming back to your SmugMug site. In addition to that, we do also have integration with Stat Counter, which is similar to Google Analytics. And that is also free, I think up to 100,000 uniques, or it's a lot per month before you need to start paying for it. So for most people, it's that also is a great solution there. Any questions on that one? And I have one other in the account settings just while we're at it.
No, go for it while you're in there.
Okay, so this is one of my absolute favorite ones. I'm going to go to the business tab, and we're going to go to selling, and then we're going to go to coupons. So coupons is a feature we actually talked about last time in tips and tricks. So I'm not going to get too into how to create a coupon and what they are, without just a little bit of a summary of a coupon is amount off, percentage off, all these different options here. But what I want to highlight here, and I think I have it right there. So here's thanks 10. This is an example one that I put together. The code is thanks 10. Now, that's a coupon, right? It exists. You can tell people the code and it will take $10 off. What's really powerful, and coupons is a pro feature only. So you need a pro SmugMug account in order to use coupons. But in addition to coupons, also comes the availability to have a thank you print added to your orders. So also from the business tab, under the branding section, we have printing and then order branding. And you can see that I have thank you print and sticker enabled here. So the strategy is, if we click manage, if you create a graphic, and mine's not super creative here, it's on white and just some simple text, but you get the idea. If you create a graphic that represents a physical coupon, let's say, that will be added to every single order that gets printed by the lab and shipped out. So your clients could receive their beautiful print order, and in that will be a print of your graphic that says, hey, thank you for your purchase. Please enjoy 10% off your next order. Use coupon code thanks10. And that's just a really great way to incentivize repeat business and people to come back to your SmugMug site and purchase more. So
especially someone who's already bought from you, they've proven themselves as, you know, a qualified customer, if you like. They've already bought from you, so they know how to buy stuff online. They have, you know, they're savvy enough to do that. They like your work because they've already bought it. So yeah, really incentivize those people by giving them that discount in the orders they receive it. And even if they don't buy it themselves, they could then share that with friends and family, and you get that kind of snowball effect as they share it. Another place I personally used to use coupon codes. Over here in the UK, we call them discount vouchers, but it's, you know, wherever you are in the world, there's different nuances to it. But coupon codes, I used to add them to little business cards that I would leave at venues. If I was like photographing a wedding, I would leave them all over the place, on the bar, next to, you know, on tables, that type of idea, so that people at the wedding or the event could go away with a URL where they could go see the images. The URL was already there that they could go see the images, but also, you know, give them an incentive, maybe even a time-based incentive, you know, for the next 2 weeks, here's a 10% discount off that. So it's a nice way to drive traffic. That kind of gets superseded by social media, though. If you can share that code with the client, you know, perhaps your client, you know, a bride and groom, if you give them that code and ask them to share it with their friends and family, then that can be way more effective if they put it on their social media as well. But coupon codes are great. One thing I love about our own coupon code builder is that you can give it a sensible name. A lot of coupons and other systems, it churns out just a random generated code. But the fact that you can call it, I'm just looking at your screen, buy 3 today, or 10% off, or Mother's Day 50, you can make it relevant to that campaign. So obviously, Kaydin's going to do a little bit of business in Mother's Day, which I believe is coming up soon in the US. It's already been here in the UK, but in the US, Kaydin's going to get the mothers out there some nice gifts. We're giving them 50% off by the looks of it.
Yeah, $50 off, but you got to spend $100 first. That's the example set for this one.
That's great. Yeah, it's a powerful feature because there's all those different ways to use it. There's, you know, percentage off, money off. Can you make it free shipping? Yeah, free shipping. You can give people a print credit, so you can actually give people an amount of money that they can then go spend on products on your page, with certain caveats about what certain galleries they can and can't buy from, that type of stuff. So yeah, coupon codes, very, very powerful feature. Great way to drive business.
I love coupon. Yeah, drive business, and also to incentivize, you know, early birds buying sooner than later, especially for, you know, event photographers, where it's like, if you buy this week or next week the prices go up, or use this code now. Those are always really powerful. And then also with the restrictions that the ability to restrict a coupon to specific items and products is incredibly powerful. Like the example I have here of, you know, buy 3 digital downloads, get 1 for free. You know, in the restrictions, this is restricted to just digital downloads, and the digital downloads on this account are set for $35, I believe. So you need to have 3 of them in your account, and that would bring you to the 105. And then once that reaches that amount, it would actually pull off $35. So in theory, they'd have 4 digital downloads in their cart, and they would only end up paying for 3 of them. So buy 3, get 1 free. So some really cool ways to like incentivize people to group together or purchase more items while they're in the shopping cart.
Yep. Excellent. No questions at the moment on that. As I say, the questions are kind of delayed by about 30 seconds due to the broadcast lag. But I wonder if you're in there, do you feel like touching packages?
Sure, we can take a quick look at packages. If we drop into selling here, and below the coupons option is packages. I have a few sample ones already lined up. Typically, what I recommend with packages, you usually have a good, better, best type model. So that's what we're showing here is gold, silver, and copper. Let's go ahead and just take a look at our gold package that I put together. And it's very similar to the price list section when you're setting things up, is where you get to choose products, the quantity of them. I always suggest that people summarize what they're offering in the description. It's not required, but it just gives you a good idea as to what's part of that without having to dig into it. You got your lab here, color correction. Sometimes this one kind of catches people off guard for the package type, multi-image or single photo. School photographers love single photo. You choose one image, and that'll be printed on all of those products that are part of the package. And the multi-image would allow the buyer to choose which images in the gallery they want to serve as the different prints themselves. And then just like coupons and price lists, you're able to restrict a package to specific galleries or make it available to all. And then down here, you just simply add either your profit that you want to earn or the price, and the other will adjust accordingly. So that's packages in a nutshell.
Yeah, that multi-image, single image thing does catch people out. A single image would be small, medium, large of the same photo, typical of what you would get at a school. You want a portrait of your child, but you want a small, or maybe 5 small ones, 2 medium ones, and 1 large one, all of the exact same image. And multi-image, it could be a variety of different image on each product that's in that package. So a very important little feature there. We're churning through all these tips and tricks today. That's great. Really shooting through them. We've got about 5-10 minutes left. If there's something else you want to jump into.
I have one more on my list that I wanted to talk about, and that would be a feature that we've had for a long time, but we did just amend to it and make it a little bit easier to understand and see, and that's called gallery presets, as well as default gallery styles. So I'm going to drop into my organizer here, and we'll just go back into our wildlife gallery, access the settings. And right now we don't see the option because we haven't made any changes to the existing settings. But as soon as I toggle one setting within here, and you'll notice, let's just turn download buttons on. Down here at the bottom, we have this option, save these settings as a gallery preset. Now, if I set this up and be like, I want this to be my wildlife preset. I might have one already, so I'm going to call that 2 so that we can actually save it. If I save this, it'll save all of these settings that are here in this particular gallery settings and make it available to be selected for future galleries that we create. So if I jump back to the basics tab, up here at the top, we see gallery preset, and then here's all the options that you could have selected. So if I was to have created a brand new gallery, we can just jump right in, click on one of these and apply it. And all it would have needed was a name, and all the rest of these tabs and the settings that we wanted would be enabled. Now, the newer part, we've always had that feature. It used to be called quick settings. Now it's called gallery preset. If some of our viewers today have been with SmugMug for a while. But something that is new is this right here. Use as my default for new galleries. So let's just say that you have specific features that you always want enabled for every single gallery that you create moving forward. Maybe there are some settings that are going to change depending on the gallery, but there are certain ones that are always going to be the same. Let's just say right-click message and maximum display size, right? If you want those always enabled, and we'll just say all these, you can check that box right there. And when you hit save, that will make it so that when you come up here and you go create new gallery, because super creative I am, those will already have all those settings. So right-click message is turned on. There's the watermark, maximum display size. Everything is exactly as I had it in that wildlife gallery when we made it. Now, you may be asking yourself, okay, but what if I want to change that default in the future? Well, you can do one of two things. You can either create a new gallery or adjust an existing gallery settings and check that box down there, or, and this is a new section in our account settings. So I went back to my home page. We'll click on the little silhouette and down to account settings. And if we drop to, I believe it's under, no, it's under here. So me, and then there's a few other sub tabs here. All the way at the bottom, we have gallery presets. And there's the wildlife preset 2, which is now the default. I can click on view settings to get a visual summary of all of the settings that are part of that preset. And if we wanted to, I can come down here and say, well, you know what? Actually, I want my wedding gallery preset to be the default. Click that, and that's now the new one. And then I'll also point out there is a little trash can icon, because you can't edit presets once they're created, but you are able to delete them and simply just create a new one if you need to. So this is really powerful for the power user that really creates lots of galleries and has specific settings for those galleries moving forward.
Yeah, I've always loved the gallery presets, or quick settings as it used to be called. We have so many settings for all the different features, all the bells and whistles that you would potentially need as a photographer in your gallery settings. We've added them in there. It can be a little bit daunting when you first set up a gallery. It's like, oh my goodness, we have all these different things I have to check. The good thing is you only have to do it that once. Save it as a preset and then apply it. And if you specialize in a single genre of photography and you're always doing the same type of events, then it's great. You just set it as your default and it's added every single time to that gallery without you having to go in there and adjust them. So presets is great. So that's a good chunk of stuff already today. Thanks, Kaydin, for that. That's us been going the 45 minutes. The questions have been pretty quiet, folks. I think we've stunned everybody. But a few questions that we've already covered. But I think we will end the stream there, unless you have anything urgent you want to do, or we can keep some back for the next one.
Let's keep them back for the next one.
Yeah, I think so. But thanks for that, Kaydin. Thank you all that wrote in and said hello and asked the questions. Come back to the next stream. Don't be shy. Get those questions in there. We love answering them. It really helps us with the shows to have your questions and feed off that. So for today, thank you so much. As I said, this week we recorded a special episode just on the Lightroom plugin. I would highly recommend that you go watch that. It's a wonderful feature and took a whole hour just to discuss the basics of what you can do with it. Next week on the show, we have two guests coming next week. We have the incredible Michael Shainbloom coming to give us some insight into how he edits his landscape work and his night sky and astrophotography work. He's going to be doing a demo on his editing process. So that's going to be awesome. We are also going to be joined by the phenomenal wedding sort of fashion photographer, Lara Jade, who's joining us from New York. And Kaydin's going to come back and join me next week, I believe. Yeah, we've got another one lined up with you next Friday again.
Sure.
He's such an easy guy to work with. He's like, sure, let's do 6 next week. No, I'm only joking. We'll do the one next week. But please reach out to me. You'll find me at Alastair Jolly all over the internet. It's my handle on most platforms. So find me there. Feed those questions to me if you want to ask anything in advance. We'd love to feed the questions directly to me. That would be great. You could do something else. You could go and hit the subscribe button to the channel, hit the little bell notification. That will allow you to be notified whenever we upload something new here, so that you can see those shows with our guests or some of the tips and tricks that Kaydin and I are going to be covering. But for just now, Kaydin, thank you so much. I appreciate your time today. Let you get
Thank
on
you.
with the rest of your day in California. Thank you so much. And everybody, thank you. Enjoy your day wherever you are, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care. Goodbye.